This sequence is going to go through some transitional movements from our seated position, transferring into something called tripod, and then progressing to bear and into some standing squatting variations. So another sequence that goes through some trunk stability as you're transitioning from positions on the ground to standing. So we're going to start in sitting in this somewhat of a reclined sit position to engage this trunk stability that I'm after with a lot of the movements initially, setting the stage for good stability through my spine. So I'm going to start off reclined back with my hands forward. And I'm going to start to progress towards my oblique sit position. So I'm going to start by bending this knee, starting to turn to transfer weight towards this knee as my hand comes back into our oblique sit. Now from here, as I transfer the weight onto this knee and I start to reach forward, using this bottom knee to lift me up and engage my hip, I'm going to come, instead of to that position where I'm going to crawl, to this tripod where this top foot will stay up high and my hand will come down inside my foot. Now from here, I'm going to start to rock back a little bit. And I'm going to bring my back knee up off the ground, and this is going to be this differentiated bear position. Then I'll then rock back into more of a standing lunge. And from here, I'm actually going to rotate my feet so that I go from my right lead foot to my left now lead foot. And then I'm going to transition back through basically the reverse of the way I got to my feet. So I'm going to come down with my hands, coming inside my foot, and bringing this knee to the ground. And then from here, it's going to be that same transition back to my oblique sit, slowly to my hip, and then I'll end back where I was in this sitting position. So just to show you facing the other way, so you can see the front of tripod when I get into it. As I start in this reclined sitting position, same as before, that bottom knee bends as I start to turn and transfer weight towards this bottom knee to lift me up. Now instead of coming to my crawling or quadruped position, I'm going to use this knee to come up, and this foot's going to step up forward with my hand coming inside it, and this is going to be my tripod. And then from here, this is where I'm going to push back onto that back foot, and this will be somewhat of this differentiated bear position where the typical bear, my feet are side by side. And then from here, with this foot flexed and my weight on my back toes, I'm going to start to push back, come up into this shallow lunge, which is when I'll transfer. Right now I have most of the weight on my front foot. I'm going to start to turn and my feet will pivot to change it to more of this opposite leg. And then once again I would transition down into this differentiated bear and down into tripod. And then just as before, I will start to just let this back foot pivot, using my bottom leg as my support to slowly control my descent back down into this oblique sit. So a lot of transitional movements that we're going through, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but the big thing is we want to look at maintaining the control and stability of our spine as we're going through these different movements that simulate positions that you need to get from the floor to standing, and some rotational or transitional positions in standing where we go from one foot to the other.